after we went through one of the warmest parades in 2004, we go back to normal temperatures the following year in 2005, which did came with a few events. One of them was that this would be the last time Katie Couric would host the parade with Matt Lauer and Al Rooker. And unfortunately, an accident with the yellow and red M&M's balloon in Times Square due to high winds knocked down a lamppost and injured 2 spectators. More of it was covered during the CBS broadcast of the parade. And for NBC's broadcast, I don't know if this is true or not, but this may be, if not the first year that I've experienced with the parade or not. Only reason is because I know Dora the Explorer and Mr. Potato Head were brand new balloons. I don't have a full memory of that because I was only 5, but now going into this year, now older, and have experience with this, I'll be honest, 2005 is one of the weakest years when it comes to the song roster. 28 of them here, and I kind of think a lot of these are kind of forgettable. And I will admit, I am not a fan on how I rank these, but it's the best that I can do. So, let's get into my ranking of the songs of the 2005 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Starting it up at number 28, this was the one that was the most forgettable performance, and song in general, I would say. And that is Toot Sweets by the cast of Broadway's Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Going from the West End to Broadway in 2005, the Sherman Brothers musical Chitty Chitty Bang Bang first appeared in last year's parade with stars Aurora Sparza and Aaron Dilley, and cast members marched down the parade with the famous race car. And I was surprised that the cast did not perform last year, but the current cast/replacements did the following year before it closed a month later, as the cast performs the third number of Act 1, Toot Sweets. I never have said this probably, but this is one of those songs that I have no memories every time when I think about this song. This is mainly due to not having a soundtrack of the Broadway version. Yes, there is the original West End, but we're focusing on the Broadway one here. When I listen to the main version with Rural Sparza that is on YouTube of the performance, is it just me, or did he sound like Lin-Manuel Miranda for a bit at the beginning, while the replacement actor sounds more legit British? And when I'm still trying to listen to this song made me stuck on what to say about the number. Not even the parade performance didn't do anything for me. Only thing I remember about the song is Toot Sweets, Toot Sweets, or Toot Sweets, Toot Sweets. Number 27, The Adventure Begins by the Royal Caribbean Singers and Dancers. Last year, we went on a voyage to adventure with the Royal Caribbean Singers and Dancers. Now the adventure begins with 2005. And listening to them, you can see why last year was better, because their voices didn't sound like the faces we saw on the broadcast. I didn't even know what they were saying. But that was back when we had a low quality of the parade when it was first released on YouTube, and then we got a higher quality now. And I heard more of the background than the song itself. Like, just legit, like, the noise of the background of, like, the environment. The time had came to an end to these singers and dancers, as the celebrities would take over for this and the second version of the Royal Caribbean Float years later. Number 26, It's a Beautiful Thing by Hip Hop Kids. When I first listened to the song back when the parade was uploaded to YouTube, I had no idea what was the song they performed. Well, recently I found out that the Florida rap group Hip Hop Kids that performed with the Backstreet Boys as dancers in the 1997 parade do a hip-hop performance of the title of the DVD special that would be released a year later, It's a Beautiful Thing. Now, the major thing, of course, no digital soundtrack of this special, and the parade performance was only 47 seconds, and none of the vocals from that DVD are in the parade of the 40 kids that are in this. As you can see, it is not a beautiful thing when it comes to 2005, and you'll see more on this list why it isn't so beautiful. Number 25, You Got Me by B5. Brothers Dustin, Kelly, Patrick Carnell, and Brian Breeding became an R&B boy band called B5, with track number 2 that got a single release on their debut album, You Got Me. Now this is a true hip-hop song we're looking at, although it did feel like it was 5 minutes instead of 3.5 minutes. And their parade performance was only a minute, as the float leaves Herald Square like 30 seconds of the performance in. Kind of disrespectful, might I add. Do you got me to think this song is good? Somewhat, but both the length of the song and the parade performance didn't felt crazy. It just didn't mix well. Number 24, Rush by Aly and AJ. Sisters Allison and Amanda Jo Mikala, if I'm correct on that, had become a pop duo in 2004, and a year later, they would release their first album, Into the Rush, with track number 1 that got a single release they performed, Rush. This album did receive mixed to positive reviews by critics, and I will say, Rush is definitely one of those songs I couldn't get into, because I don't know what the song is supposed to tell me. The pacing, I will say it's good, and the parade performance did a better presentation of the song if you're not counting the music video. I'm not going into a rush right now just to finish this list because I don't have to. I just have to take my time here quick reviewing these songs. Number 23, We Give Thanks Today by Camp Broadway. After America Sings had ended their time, Camp Broadway took over the opening act group for the next 3 years, as they begin this year all in their pajamas as they woke up to perform We Give Thanks Today. Now, I think the opening verse of the song was great. The rest of it, I don't know if the tone of the song, not on the kids' vocals because they're kids, it's just there are some parts that didn't fit. I do agree with my dad in the army part, but not the part of my mom is ill. And honestly, who wears pajamas like that? It makes sense of the color of fall, but let me ask you, who wears fall-themed costumes nowadays as adults like that? I kind of feel thankful, but this performance makes me feel like I miss America Sings. Number 22, The Dream by Rita Coolidge. The Cherokee American native Rita Coolidge returns to the parade since 1987, becomes the first celebrity roster in the parade to perform a Cherokee rendition of The Dream. Now, I am not familiar with this song, and I don't know if this was a parade exclusive or not, because, well, who was the original artist? I'm not really sure who. Let me know in the comments if you do, or what the origins of the natives of song is, as I try to do my best in my research here. So I'm just judging by its own here through this parade, and it's fine. The main verse of the song is good, and I love the tone of the rendition, especially the backing vocal sounds. As for Rita, I think she did a good job of saluting her Cherokee heritage with this song. I just wish there was more info about the song, and since I kind of forgot most of the lyrics, it does appeal to me for my dream on where I should put this song on this list. Number 21, Who I Am by Tiffany Evans. 13-year-old Tiffany Evans had performed 2 different songs with similar titles. There's Who Am I from the direct-to-DVD movie Tarzan 2 in the end credits, and this one that got a single release, Who I Am. I got a lot of questions here. Why is this song 4 minutes? And although great vocals at the beginning, why she went on a lower tone with her voice at the time for the rest of it? I mean, the tone of the music is good, as well as the parade performance, but what's with the song all about her and on who she was if you don't count the main verse of the song? But it is better than the other 7 songs we just looked at the list so far. Number 20, I'm a Brass Band by the cast of Broadway's Sweet Charity featuring Christina Applegate. The 1966 musical Sweet Charity comes back to Broadway for its second revival that opened on May 4th and ended on New Year's Eve of that year. But one of the biggest aspects that came with the revival was Hollywood star Christina Applegate making her Broadway debut by being Charity Valentine as she performs the second to last number of Act 2, I'm a Brass Band. And you know why they chose this song. Not because of Applegate, but because one of the lyrics is, I'm the band from Macy's Big Parade. Yeah, what a plug-in for that song. That's more of the choreography than the singing. Haven't said something like that in a while. It's primarily on that when you're listening to the soundtrack of the revival. And I understand it's the second to last number, but I think they should have choose something better. I will give it this. The parade performance is better, especially Applegate's costume. Also, when she was interviewed for the parade's 85th anniversary special in 2011, she said she almost fainted live at Herald Square. Luckily, she didn't. It is also unfortunate that Applegate is not in the best shape as she has been diagnosed with MS. Although she can't perform now as she used to, but her only theater role of her career shows us that so many people love her, especially for the Macy's Parade. Number 19, King Tut by Jay Rodriguez. Star of the reality TV show Queer Eye, Jay Rodriguez goes all in with the performance of Steve Martin, and yes, the Steve Martin, and the Toot Uncommon's 1978 hit King Tut on the Tutstein float. Now, I have never listened to the original version, so I'm just judging it on Jay's performance. Definitely a funky modern version of the song with female backup singers, and even though if it does feel a bit upbeat, but I don't remember much of the lyrics, except for the backing vocals and he could have won a Grammy, and since this was a parade exclusive, gotta move on to the next song, King Tut. Number 18, Catch Your Wave by the Click 5. You can't have a Macy's Parade without a boy band, as 5 guys from a Boston music college made their debut album, Greetings from Emir House, with track number 3 that got a single release as the Click 5 performs Catch Your Wave. The album has received mixed reviews, and I kind of agree with the song because it doesn't even know if it wants to be a long song or short, because it's less than 3 minutes, it starts good at the beginning, but it kind of almost feels like it's long when you're getting near to the end. For the parade, they do wear their then trademark outfits during the band's beginnings, but like the song itself, the performance doesn't feel like it's either long or short. So does any girl want to catch my wave? Well, you gotta understood that it has a good upbeat, but not great pacing. Number 17, Great Big Stuff by the cast of Broadway's Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Adapting the 1988 film comedy and bring it to Broadway with only 625 performances and mixed reviews by critics, yeah, I can see why this wasn't so memorable. As we go into the third number of Act 1 with Freddie Benson, played by Norbert Leo Butz, who won a Tony for his role, performs Great Big Stuff. All I can say is some lyrics are outdated, and I could see why this was not for kids, because foul language warning on the main soundtrack of the song. And I'm guessing he's supposed to be funny when he's not. Even the parade, I had no laughs at all. And they did change the wording for the general audience on TV, and also an Al Roker plugin for the broadcast. The only thing I remember the most is Great Big Stuff, and that's it. And in the parade performance, I couldn't really hear the backing vocals saying, Great Big Stuff! So, do I get some Great Big Stuff for my money with the Macy's Parade? Well, not being funny for this song is one thing I won't get money from. Number 16, My Gift of Thanks by Michael Feinstein. Pianist, recording artist, and songwriter Michael Feinstein returns for his third parade to perform an original song that he and William Skimmerhorn wrote, joining with the high-pitched voices as Michael performs My Gift of Thanks. Now, it is nice to hear a Thanksgiving song in the parade, because it is so rare to hear a song dedicated to the holiday. So Michael and William working together on making this was great, and the high-pitched voices work so well as Michael's backing voices. The unfortunate part is that it doesn't have the emotional impact to the event, based on how the song was executed in the parade. And you cannot get this in William Skimmerhorn's SoundCloud page. I almost give My Gift of Thanks, but please have it more emotional here. Number 15, Pon de Replay by Rihanna. First up, yes, It's odd that this hit is not in the top 5. And second, yes, before she really became an A-list celebrity, the Barbados native Robin Bettany, aka Rihanna, performed in the Macy's parade, as she performs, if not her first big major hit, that would be the first track of her debut album, Music of the Sun, Pon de Replay. And as you can tell, this at number 15 is like her debut album. I felt mixed with this song, and once again, another song about 4 minutes. But it is an iconic song for her career. The parade performance was better, and like she did at 17 years old, she still had that iconic look as well, with something kind of covering one of her eyes like she did with her hair. I just don't want to hear Mr. DJ turn the music up so many times, which may be a bit of an annoyance to me, and I might consider Rihanna overrated just because of who she is. Not on the song, but where she is right now, and she's now an Oscar nominee. Number 14, Oklahoma by Kristin Chenoweth. 2007 marks the 100th anniversary of the Sooner State of Oklahoma's statehood, and the Oklahoma Centennial Committee made a float that would feature Oklahoma natives. And one of them that was just in the parade 2 years ago as Galinda in Broadway's Wicked, and now a star on NBC's The West Wing, Kristin Chenoweth performs the title song of the Rodgers and Hammerstein musical, Oklahoma. Now, her enthusiasm to that performance was so strong, because getting a Broadway star to do that fits. Only issue is that this is a parade exclusive. And although I do appreciate her voice, it kind of went a bit fast, and it didn't take its time to celebrate the 46th state's upcoming birthday. We will see her in future episodes of this series, but as of right now, this is the best solo performance she has done in the parade for her career. Number 13, Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, Walk Like a Man, and Who Loves You by the cast of Broadway's Jersey Boys. Based on the life of the Four Seasons, a stage musical taking the lives of Frankie Valli, Tommy DeVito, Bob Guido, and Nick Massey, if I'm correct on those names, and put them in Broadway with Jersey Boys, which would win the Tony for Best Musical, as the cast performs a medley of 3 songs from the show, which are tracks numbers 18, 7, and 22 on the soundtrack. Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, Walk Like a Man, and Who Loves You. Now, I do enjoy John Lloyd Young's cover of Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, and the group sounding, ooh, in Walk Like a Man, Talk Like a Man, but not on Big on Who Loves You, though. The parade performance kind of felt odd to me, maybe because almost all the costumes were dark clothes instead of their red jackets for specifically the main 4 guys, and the setting of the songs did not correlate well. Who Loves You? Well, I'll Walk Like a Man, and I Can't Take My Eyes Off of You if I actually didn't felt cold listening to these, even if this does put this as the best Broadway performance of 2005. Number 12, Hope Has Wings from Barbie as the Magic of Pegasus by Brie Larson. Barbie's 6th direct-to-DVD movie took on the role as Princess Annika in the movie Barbie as the Magic of Pegasus, and of course a song has to occur, which is the actual theme song of the movie, Hope Has Wings, which is performed by a 16-year-old singer who would become a movie star by winning an Oscar for Best Actress in her role in the 2015 movie Room, and be Captain Marvel in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Brie Larson. Yep, the Brie Larson performed in the parade before she became an A-list celebrity. If you saw in the last episode, I did took a big harsh on I'm a Girl Like You from Barbie as the Princess and the Pauper, which I kind of regretted putting it at a bit low on that list, and I forgot to mention you can actually get that song on SoundCloud. Now, I will say that Hope Has Wings is better, and that is because of Larson's voice. I really wonder if she can do a new rendition of her song on her YouTube channel. That would be interesting. The parade performance went incomplete because of course, they were going into a commercial. If it was a bit longer, it would have been higher here. Now, you cannot get this song on a Barbie as the Magic of Pegasus soundtrack because there's no official soundtrack. However, you can get this song on Brie Larson's debut album from that same year, Finally Out of P.E., which is the last track of the album. I don't know I will be carried by my dreams, but there is a hope as we begin with the fine songs from this year by this ranking. Number 11, Dancing Shoes by the cast of Sesame Street. It's time to put on some shoes, whether it's just a pair of sneakers or not, because the cast of Sesame Street will get us to move to the beat with the 1992 song Dancing Shoes. I gotta say, it does make me move, and they do have good lyrics throughout the entire song, except near the end, because I don't know what Gabby and Miles were saying. And even if it feels like 90 seconds, it felt like a minute more so. Whether I'm gonna win or lose, putting on my dancing shoes will make me feel to the beat of the song. Number 10, Some Hearts by Carrie Underwood. Fresh off of winning American Idol, Carrie Underwood released her first album that would be the title song of the album as track number 3 and got a single release, her cover of Marshall Crenshaw's 1989 hit, Some Hearts. Making this a country pop version really did work well, cause not the typical country singer you think Carrie is. She shows that pop feeling in her cover, and it doesn't feel like a country song at all. Also, for her parade performance, can I say she still looks the same as she is today? Yeah, she's almost 40, but she still looks young around my age, since she was 22 back then. Some hearts do get lucky sometimes, as this American Idol winner is now an A-list celebrity. Number 9, Believe from the Polar Express by Brian McKnight. Last year, Robert Zemeckis made his animated directorial debut with an adaptation of Chris Van Allsburg's book, The Polar Express, starring Tom Hanks. And the primary word that would be used in the movie was believe, which that word also ended up being the title of the end credits song that is track number 4 on the soundtrack performed by Josh Groban, the Oscar-nominated song Believe. However, when the Polar Express got afloat this year and the song was going to perform, they did not get Josh Groban to perform the song. Instead, it was singer-songwriter Brian McKnight as the last celebrity roster for this year's parade. Now, this is one of, if not, my favorite Christmas song, period. It's just so emotional with the message that we went through, if you have seen the movie, and Groban fits so well for the song. So what about Brian McKnight here? Well, I will give it that they got the main instrumental music for his performance. That's a plus. And his voice did bring us a unique cover of this song. The negative, it's way too short. It was like 50 seconds, and they should have given us more. I mean, I really want a full version of this, but this was a parade exclusive. Definitely a good artist to choose to perform this, but I wish I had everything I need to get a full version of this, or they should have just gotten Josh Groban. Number 8, White Christmas by Aaron Neville. After releasing his first Christmas album back in 1993, Aaron Neville released his second Christmas album and 14th album in general with Christmas Prayer. And track number 4 would be his second rendition of White Christmas, since he already did one in his first Christmas album. And it's more of a cover of another artist that I don't know who it is because they never reveal who sang the song on the radio. Now, I think this is a better cover that he did compared to his first one of bringing that modern gospel soul he has on his voice. And the parade shows us how expressive he is, especially at the end. Along catches is that you can't get this rendition of this song digitally. It was on iTunes at one point with the entire album, but that got removed, and only a few songs from that album are only available on Spotify. So jingle all the way for a White Christmas as we go all the way. Number 7, Remember When by Leanne Rimes. July 17, 2005 marked the 50th anniversary of one of the most iconic theme parks ever made, Disneyland in Anaheim, California. And the theming of the event was the happiest homecoming on earth, or for the other parks around the world on the soundtrack, Disney's happiest celebration on earth, with track number 22 being the official theme song for the event, Remember When, performed by country superstar LeAnn Rimes. She not only performed it for the press event, but also here in the Macy's parade. Wow, what an emotional song here, and any songs that Disney had wrote that makes you want to cry is understandable. And LeAnn Rimes' voice fits perfectly here. And the song takes its time that the Disney magic is here even at Herald Square. However, the parade performance is rather questioning. It started good and you get to see your favorite characters, but then you got just hear the backing vocals and not having Rhymes' final part of the main verse at the beginning. And also, the long note when she says when happened twice. They could have done the ending tone at the end of her performance, and instead they recycled the wah. And also, no way to get this song digitally. And I thought it was on SoundCloud for a moment. Fly Away. All you need is to believe, and remember when 2005 celebrated 50 years of Disneyland, but also saying goodbye to Michael Eisner and say hello to Bob Iger. Number 6, Talk to the Animals from Dr. Dolittle by Tommy Tune. Although it was not going to Broadway, the stage musical adaptation of Dr. Dolittle was going on a U.S. national tour, with Broadway legend Tommy Tune taking the helm as both the star and the director throughout the holiday season, and performs the third number of Act 1, the Oscar-winning song, Talk to the Animals. I gotta say, the way how he did this song was spot on, and the timing of the song was really good and makes me enjoy it. And like I Want to Be a Producer from the producers, I actually want to do a parody of this version, like as Talk to the Balloons, but I just have to think more on the lyrics, and probably one song I might get away from the YouTube bot copyright system. And yes, it would be themed to the Macy's Parade balloons. Sadly, there is no soundtrack of the US tour with Tommy, and ended up being as a parade exclusive. So I can squeak and squawk and speak and talk to the animals in real life now, but I wonder if I could talk to the balloons in real life as well. Number 5, Friends Forever by Puffy AmiYumi. Japanese duo Ami Unuki and Yumi Yoshimari got really big when they came to the United States, that they even got to sing the theme song to Teen Titans. So Cartoon Network made an animated series based on the duo with Hi Puffy AmiYumi, and got afloat in the Macy's parade. And the real Puffy AmiYumi got to perform in the parade with one of their songs from their 5th compilation album and the show's soundtrack with track number 2, Friends Forever. These ladies can rock here with this song, as well as the instruments they use, of the mix of the Japanese and American rock in correlation with the series. And the parade performance was well done, especially all those teens right in front of them. Shows us like we're in a real concert in the parade. Only catch, it is a bit of a long song at 4 minutes, and halfway through I kind of lost a bit of interest. So bound together with your longtime friend that you guys, like this duo, are friends forever. Number 4, These Words by Natasha Bedingfield. Before she had a pocket full of sunshine, British pop star Natasha Bedingfield released her debut album Unwritten the previous year. And the first song from the album that got a second single release and 2 different music videos for both internationally and for the United States would perform her hit These Words. The combination DEF, basically how fun this song is, although the album is fine by critics, but some of the hits like this one on its own was generally well received. I mean, how many times does she have to say, I love you? Also for the parade, listening to her voice, I wonder if she actually did it live or not because of that echo. But I don't know which of it matches with the audio from the song, but definitely a good placement of the song even when it was going into a commercial. So take me away with these words of your own, Natasha, for a sweet escape of your song. That's all I gotta say. Number 3, 5 More Days to Christmas by the Cheetah Girls. Started out as a Disney Channel original movie in 2003, starring Raven-Symoné and 3 other girls named Adrienne Bailon, Kylie Williams, if I'm correct on that, and Sabrina Bryan were in a group called the Cheetah Girls. which the TV movie did so well it spun off 2 sequels and 2 official albums that did not have Raven in it, and not their official album if they are counting the soundtrack, as Adrian, Keely, and Sabrina got their own holiday album called Cheetah-licious Christmas. And the first track of the album they performed was one of their original songs that got a single only on Radio Disney, 5 More Days Till Christmas. I will admit something, although I never cared about the Cheetah Girls movies and only listened to this song only, this is definitely a good Christmas song. Basically, the massive pipe of one of the best times of the year getting closer and closer. Although there is another song that counts down to 5 days, but we won't get to that until 2018. All the ladies here were spot on with their vocals, and their instrument choices were perfect for what would be a 2000s Christmas song. My only catch is kind of the parade performance. Pacing was good, it's just maybe the choreography is not what I thought it was going to be. Mainly the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 more days part. That's it. The radio will be playing all the Christmas songs just the way I like. Well, not in real life, because they repeat the same song/famous covers, but definitely one song I would have if I do a radio show. Number 2, Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys. In 1963, the rock band The Beach Boys released a new Christmas single hit called Little Saint Nick, and would be a track number 1 in their 7th album, The Beach Boys Christmas Album, a year later. Like Feliz Navidad last year, I don't think I need to go any explanation of the song itself. I mean, you hear this every time on the radio when your local station plays it in your area. I know so in my area as well. And like Jose Feliciano last year, you can't use the same audio from the soundtrack, so the current members that were present at the time re-record their hit. Mike Love's voices here just really feels like a calmer version of the song, and I wish there was a recording of this version, but no digital version, sadly. Run, run, reindeer, because the little Saint Nick wants to get to the top. Well, he almost did. And my number 1 song from the 2005 Macy's Parade is Go to the Mardi Gras by the Preservation Hall Jazz Band. Founded in 1963, the Preservation Hall Jazz Band has performed for many decades and releasing albums, including their 1999 2-disc album, Songs from New Orleans. As many of you know, one of the massive disasters that occurred in 2005 was the tragic storm known as Hurricane Katrina, which sadly affected a lot of areas throughout the east of the United States, left buildings and homes destroyed, and sadly killed close to 2,000 people, especially in the state of Louisiana, the home of New Orleans, which is one of the most populated events of New Orleans is known for, the Mardi Gras celebration and parade. 3 months after Katrina destroyed New Orleans, the Hurricane Katrina relief effort, which many NYPD officers and firefighters answered the call to help, and many of them joined the Mardi Gras Parade's crew of Morpheus for the upcoming parade in February, as a sneak preview of the parade comes to the Macy's Parade, as those officers, firefighters, and crew of Morpheus in the new Big Apple float brings in the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, led by their lead singer and trumpetist, John Brunios, as they perform track number 2 of that 1999 album, Go to the Mardi Gras. Yes, the song is 7 minutes long, but the lyrics are not what you want to listen to. You want to listen to the band playing their instruments throughout the entire length of the song, and see why this band had their commitment on doing this. And I do remember how the music goes for the entirety, including the whistling. And even though he passed away 3 years later, John Bruninos' voice is telling us we should celebrate Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Even the parade performance, despite it being a short because you can't do a 7-minute performance, still makes you feel like you were in the Mardi Gras parade right now on Thanksgiving Day. So if you ever go to New Orleans, you might find this jazz band. If you hear this song, you know that the Macy's Parade makes you why you're there to celebrate. So go to the Mardi Gras, marks this as the best song of 2005. Thank you guys for watching. I know that this is not a fantastic ranking here, because I didn't have the passion for 2005 here, but I'm glad at least I did this one. If you like this episode, you can hit that subscribe button and comment down below your personal ranking on these 28 songs. Hopefully next time the 80th parade will tell me here on what celebrities do we have, who's joining with Matt and Al in the parade booth, and there's supposed to be high winds again, but this time with pouring rain as well, as we go into another year that I think that could have introduced me to the parade, 2006.